Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Leilu Nishmasi Mirosi Ruspas Mordechai. That screen is not on over there. Rabbi Isai, check out this email by Mark Ashkenazi. Hi, Rebelli. This picture is from Thursday night on a flight to Phoenix, Arizona for Shabbos. Here's the picture. Yafeh. What you see there is a bowl of cholent on the flight. On the way to the airport, I grabbed some hot cholent from a takeout counter and put it in a small insulated bag to keep it warm. In the picture, while catching up on some misdapim, I got to enjoy some Thursday night toyamel. On a more serious note, during the Yevama Siyum I recently made at my office, I had an idea that to be productive during the heavy amount of traveling I'm going to be doing, I'll set out to learn the dapim from the beginning of brachas through where I started except the Shabbos. So going from beginning of Shas to Shabbos. So I'm fully synced with the cloud. In the past few days, I decided I'll dedicate that endeavor to be zchus Refuah Shlaima for Avi Mandelbaum. What a beautiful hashgacha it turned out to be that after downloading all the brachas and the 5 dapim of Kesubos that I need to do, I realized that the total is 68 dapim, which is a gematria of Chaim. Kitzer, it's like a ghost town here in Phoenix. So now I want to say at one point that Mark Ashkenazi, besides doing all this chesed that he does with everybody, does chesed with his own family. He moved to Phoenix, Arizona, so that his daughter could go to good school there. And he travels back and forth to Phoenix, Arizona, just to be with his daughter, and just she should do well in school. She's doing amazing. Thanks for inspiring me, your Talmud, Mark Ashkenazi. So when I read this morning, I was thinking to myself, Mo Landy, he learned a Masechta on the plane. And that started this whole movement where dozens and dozens of people, we had the other day, Leib, what's his last name? Leichter. Leiby, he says Leiby Leichter. Leiby Leichter learned the whole Masechta, hopefully he finished it. He said he's going to finish it. And many others. And Rabbi Isai, I think this is a great opportunity for us, as a klal, as a tzibur. One of us is sitting in the hospital with a very advanced stage of Yena Machla. A young guy that every one of us knows from Zoom for the last 2 years. And here comes Mark Ashkenazi and he says he's going to learn 68 dapim of Gemara in his zchus. So I say, Rosh Hashanah is in 15 days. What if we come as a tzibur and we say we're going to learn 1,000 daf Gemara for Avi. 1,000 daf Gemara for Avi. So I want to be the first one to start off here. I want to learn from beginning of Kesubos till here. I know it's a big endeavor, 5 daf a day, but you got to do something extra. To do something easy is not. You got to tell Kodesh Baruch Hu, look, I'm going all out for Avi. I'm doing 67 daf for Avi. Let's do 1,000. Anybody? 30 daf we got over here. Anybody else? How many? Extra daf a day till, so that's 15 daf. Yishkoyach. Who else? No. The entire Erevin? I hear Avi saying thank you. Yishkoyach Avi. You're not supposed to be watching this. How many daf is in Erevin? You're going to do the entire Erevin till Rosh Hashanah in 14 days? You got time. Michael Venture. Unbelievable. Yishkoyach. We should make like a page of something. The guys on Zoom, you guys also could be mishtat, and everybody that's watching this year later on. Write in how many daf you want to do. I'll read it tomorrow. How many daf you got?
I'll do at least 15.
At least 15 daf from Avi coming out. Anybody else? You guys a bunch of Levi. Extra daf a day from Levi Friedman. We're getting there. We're almost out of town. We're going to do more than 1,000.
I do the same.
Extra daf a day.
No, he meant all of Hashem.
Wow, all of Aaron is huge. I see Eli Dykeman is raising his hand. He's going like this on the top of the screen. He wants to do a whole. How many daf do you want to do, Eli? I don't want to put you on the spot, but how many do you want to do? He's throwing 20 daf? 30 daf. 30 daf. He's not going for the 15. 15 is easy.
40
All right. So you guys on Zoom, you'll get together, you'll figure it out. I want to read it all. Mark, you take some numbers over there. It's all your inspiration. Who else? Anybody else? That's it? No, how many do you want?
I'll do the rest of Kesubos.
The rest of Kesubos, you're going forward.
Yes, sir.
But that's cheating, because then you know what I'm going to say in daf. Then you're going to go to sleep on me, whatever. Okay.
I'm not going to sleep.
Okay, Gevali, Shkoyach. Rabbi, I said this email, but we got to say it again for all those who weren't here last night. Hello, Rebelli. Last night, I inadvertently fell asleep while listening to the daf. What was more unfortunate was that my wife didn't fall asleep. In the morning, she told me what she had heard. Now I'm on the hook for a lot of jewelry before Yontif. It's a shame she wasn't paying attention to a few blot ago what a wife is mechuyev to do for her husband. Thanks. Anonymous, just in case my wife is listening. Philip Sanzer, you're not anonymous. Chaim Kessler, Chanunin of Azois. If you haven't already seen the Beryl Solomon video, in Hashem we test, in God we test, it's on YouTube, Chaim Kessler, Baltimore. A few people told me to watch it. I watched it. It's amazing. Yeshkoyach. Beryl Solomon video, in God we test. It's about giving tzedakah, giving and testing Hashem. Yedidya. Dear Moreinu V'Rabbeinu Rav Agoyin Shlita, thank you for an amazing daf every day. As our staff of Ezra Youth Group finished the year, we couldn't think of any more appropriate present to give the Mirakezet, but an MDY sweatshirt. Shkoyach. Chaim Eli, good Shabbos, your Talmud MDY family member. Rabbi Sai, today we have an amazing daf, very agaded kind of daf, but a lot of words. If you turn to Amud Beis, you'll see. So we got to really move. The koilel is sponsored, and this is the last day. So Yishkoich Aviv, $10,000 donation. Aviv Rachel Kamiansky, in memory of Rachel's mother, Reza Gittel Bas Esther. Reader should be Melitza Yosher on behalf of us and our children. The second sponsor of the koilel for the success of our family that we merit to always crown Hashem. The koilel is sponsored for the day. You can do that also. Lili Nishmas Etel Bas Shmuel, by her family on her first yard site. The Masechta is sponsored by Molandi, Lili Nishmas Yosef Baruch ben Moshe Aaron, Lili Nishmas Elazar ben Nata Shalom, and for that hatzlacha b'chol inyanim for his children. The second sponsor of the Masechta, Jeff Rosner, and zchus of my son, is Simcha Chaim ben Chana, Refuah Shlaima, Amen. The rest of the Masechta is sponsored by Ofishel Mitzva Motivators, the Refuah Shlaima of our great friend Avi, Avraham Mנשה ben Chana, Brokha, Refuah Shlaima. You know what? If this will be amazing, we will turn over Shemayim if a bunch of Hasidim jump in and they say they're going to do a bunch of Daf Gemara for a Dati Leumi Moreshet. You know what that's going to do? Seriously. All of us together, we're one mishpacha, we got to learn. There's nothing like learning Torah. David HaMelech asked that his Tehillim should be as chashav as learning Torah. The Gemara doesn't say if Hashem answered him or not. Learning Torah is the top. That's the best you can do for Avi. Chaperayim, do some davim, and you'll do for yourself. You're going to learn extra Torah for yourself before Rosh Hashanah. Lili Nishmas, the month is sponsored Lili Nishmas Zechrya ben Moshe, and the month is sponsored by the MDY Family. Lili Nishmas Ezra Tuvia Yaakov ben Esanel Yitzchak, Ezra Pollak Olav Shalom. Third sponsor by the Lock and Lebovic families, Lakewood New Jersey, because Torah is the best segula. B3 bikes, go check them out. I love that merch. I need another one of those bottles, another two of those bottles. Where do you get them? I couldn't. He said it's on Amazon. I checked. My sons want one. This one wants great stuff. I'm not okay. It's ready to sound like smell. Yesterday, I spoke about the beef jerky that was amazing. Then I got almost killed by the other beef jerky from town. Where's the Eitan? He's not showing up at the show anymore. He's starting to listen to Bornstein. Refuah Shlaima Yecheskel ben Leah. Refuah Shlaima Yecheskel ben Leah. All right, Rabbi Yisai, here we go. We did a little bit more than we usually do, just so that we could have a head start on today's daf, which is a very, very long one. Omar Rev Shemen, like 10 lines down, 2, 4, 6, 8. It's always 10 lines. Even if it's 11, it's 10. Today it's actually 10 lines down. Omar Rev Shemen Barabo Daf Samach Zayin Amud Aleph. Omar Rabbi Yochanan, the name of Rabbi Yochanan. So let me just show you real quickly, like sort of the end of the sugya. I'm not going to say the sheet is so much, but take a look at this chart. There's 3 types of gold. There's a bar of gold, a piece of solid gold. That the Gemara is going to tell us, or a kli that's made out of gold, that doesn't go down in value. Even if you use it, a bar is a bar. You weigh it, it weighs a pound. It's going to weigh a pound when the marriage is over. So if she brings in a bar of gold, he doesn't have to write anything like Kesubos. He's going to give her 1.5 bars, like when it comes to cash. When it goes to matbei zav, so typically speaking, if it's a golden coin which is easily redeemable and people use it, so that's like cash. And we said yesterday cash. If she brings in $1 million cash, he has to pay back 1.5 mil. Where was it? this one over here. Why is it going so slow? Here. She brings in 1,000, he has to give her 1,500. Either you could call it 50% more, that's what we call it here in America or in Israel in English, or in the Gemara Lashon it's 33% more because you go to the end. You take the 1,500, and how much did he add? One part of that, which is 33%. Milibar and miligav. But anyway, what if you can't redeem it easily? What if these golden coins, somewhat like today, I don't think you just go into a store and start, nobody's going to really take it, you have to go to a special place. So that we'll see a machlokes in the Gemara. Now, very small pieces of gold are like anything else that gets ruined when you touch it, and that's not like a bar of gold, and therefore, you take off 20%. That we had in the Mishnah, that if she brings in kalim into the marriage, you take off 20% because people exaggerate their value, etc. Says the, so that's basically the sugya. Don't get confused, and then we're going to get to the agata. Omer Rabbi Yochanan, if she brings in gold, Omer Rav Shem Bara. That I said already, but you want me to say it again? Fine. Omer Rav Shem Bara, Omer Rabbi Yochanan. You have to evaluate it. Vareu kishav yoy. Not more, not less. Yesterday we were learning about adding 50%, taking off 20%. There's not, no, you don't take off, you don't add. Meisvei, but I have a question. It says Hazav Vareu kikelim. Gold is like vessels. My love. Kikelim shel kesef the pachasi. So here we had yesterday different things that a person brings into marriage, kesef, cash. Then you have kelim that belong in a house, like a bed, a piano, different things. And that you take off from the value. We just said that gold is like those kelim. L'chayr, no? Like regular vessels, made out of silver, whatever it is, the pachasi, that they go down in value. Loi kikelim shel zahav, the loy pachasi. When it says kelim, it's talking about golden vessels. Ask the Gemara a question that the Gemara doesn't have an answer for. The Gemara is going to say at the end that this question remains a good kasha. It's not going to ruin everything. It's a kasha, not a tiyufta. That what? Imkain, kikei love me baile. The lashon is a little off. It's just saying like golden vessels. It just says kelim, general word, kelim. Why I say kelim? Be more specific. Like, it's not like kelim. It's only like golden kelim. It should be more specific. Okay, good kasha. Void. But I have another question. And we're going to get rid of this one. Tanya, zavareki kelim. Now, it says gold is like vessels. Direzov harein kiksafim. So you see on the chart, you have gold and you have golden coins, two different things. Yeah, it's made out of the same material, but they act differently. So it says when it comes to zahav, golden bars, it's like a kli. Direzov, so to make it easier for everybody, I did one of these. There's a reisha and a seifa. So you don't get confused. It might help a little bit in the sugya. It's very simple. You can just look back to this line. It's just one line. The reisha. Gold is like vessels. Seifa. Golden coins is like money. Money, we said, you have to add 50%. The husband, when he gets divorced, he must give his wife 50% more than what she came into the marriage. She came with $1,000, he gives her $1,500. So golden coins is like cash. It's liquid. Golden bars are not liquid, and they don't go down in value. Comes Rav Shimon Gamliel and he says, now the Gemara is just going to ask, what is he talking about? Is he talking about the blue or the red? Is he talking about the reisha or the seifa? Which part of this is he talking about? He says, in a place where the minig is not to redeem it, it's very hard, like here in Ramat Bet Shemesh in New York. Go to a pizza shop, give him a golden coin, he'll think you're nuts. You know, it's not something that we do. You go to special, I don't know, dealer, gold dealer, but you don't. So the minig is not to redeem it. You just see, okay, how much is a golden coin? $5,000? That's it. You give her $5,000 and you get divorced 25 years later. So ask the Gemara, what is he talking about? Is it the reisha or the seifa? It's not such a big reisha and a seifa. It's three words. I put in three words because it didn't fit over there. What does he say? If you have golden coins, that the minig in that place is not to redeem it, like in our days, And on that, Rav Shimon Gamliel says you just give 1 for 1, not more, not less. How's it possible that Tanna Kama argues on that? It's something that you don't redeem. It's not redeemable. Holy nafki, nobody uses it. Elo, so you must say, lava ratio. So Rav Shimon Gamliel is talking about the ratio. That what? Golden bars are like vessels. What it says in the ratio is that gold is like regular vessels. No, it's not like a vessel, it's like liquid cash. It's very, very different. If you compare gold to vessels, to a piano, what happens to the piano? Goes down in value. You bring in $1,000 piano to the marriage, you get $800 when you leave. No, Rav Shimon says, no, you don't get $800. You get $1,500. It's liquid cash. He could go and do business with it. It's great for him. So if it's good for him, he has to pay for it. Sorry. If it's a place that you don't go and you redeem fakert, you don't, so it has halacha of cash. He has to. So what's the halacha in that case? Let me think. You don't add. Sorry, you don't add. But you don't take off. Shaloi lefartam, because it's not liquid cash. If it was liquid, you would have to add. Over here it's shanagu shaloi lefartam. Okay. Since the minig is not to use it, it's not liquid cash, you don't add anything. So it stays 1 for 1. Says the Gemara Loi. Loi lama seifa, it's talking about that Reb Shimon Gamliel says that the din reis zahav have a halacha of liquid. And the question is, well, why would the Tanna Kama argue in that? So the answer is, the argument here is because we're talking about it's not so liquid. It's liquid, it's not, it's hard, you have to find something, you have to schlep until you find the right person. Since at the end of the day, you could find somebody that will take it from you. So you have to add your 50%. But the other ones, the Tanna Kama says, no, it's very difficult to find somebody that will take it. You don't have to add 50%. No, Reisha and Seifa is one person. But you have to add a couple of words to make it work. Gold is like vessels. In other words, it goes down in value. You don't have to pay her the full amount. But golden coins, you have to add 50%. Only in a place where it's easy to liquefy it. But if it's in a place that it's not the minhag, then you give 1 for 1. You don't go down, you don't go up, you give exactly what it's worth. In a place where the minhag is not to redeem it. Ask the Gemara, but what about the question we asked all the way in the beginning? It should say that the gold is like its own vessels, not like others. Kashya. Okay, fine. That remains a shayla. Not a shayla, kasha. So now the Gemara introduces this thing right over here, which is gold flakes or something. So you have flakes, you have literally dust, but the point of both of them is that this is not like a golden bar. This goes down in value. You touch it, you leave part of it on the table, you start scooping it up. I was going straight, man. It's not even me. Omar Bianai. No, you got to come Motzei Shabbos. It's a whole different story here. Yeah, it wasn't even me. It was him. He was like in a whole different world. That's why you don't come. Omar Bianai. Besamim shalan toichia. So now I'm just going to have a number of things that they're very easy to do business with. The spices of antoichia. It has halacha of liquid cash. And what's halacha in liquid cash? A woman brings in liquid cash into the marriage. The husband has to pay her back 50% more. So too, besamim. Also, these very important camels, Isha Goiva, Parna Mehem, she takes 50% cut on top of everything on these camels. Omer Rapapi, Hanat Toisve, the Beimichse, these shirts, these clothing shirts, Isha Goy Beparnamem. Okay, again, something that you could just give and take. In those days, they would trade, barter, whatever. Omer Rapapi, Hanasake, the Rudia, the sacks, Va'ashle, the Kimchonia, and the rope from Kimchoin, Isha Goy Beparnamem. Easy to do business with. It's like liquid cash, 50% more. Omer Rava. In the beginning, I used to think, if a husband had a whole bag full of cash, then this is a little different, this is a little tricky. It's not the same partner that we just mentioned 5 times in a row. This is a different partner. This means that the woman could collect her ksuba from the wallet, this bag of cash. My timer, because I thought, says Rava, she was Simcha das on this bag, and that was her guarantee, the bag of cash. When I noticed that when she takes the cash, what is the first thing she does? She has a lot of cash in her hand. She buys real estate. So why go to the cash to the real estate? She's actually Simcha das on the real estate that she's going to purchase with the cash. It's not the cash. Memela ksuba comes out of real estate, not out of cash. Says the Heilige Mishnah by Moshe Cohen, zchus for limanat Torah continues hatzlacha parnasa. Hamasis b'distam, a person who marries off his daughter le'yivchos la mechamishim zuz. It's a chiyuv of the father to give his daughter something when she goes into a marriage. She give her at least 50 zuz so she can buy some decent clothing. Pasag lachinsa haruma. If he decided not to give her anything, so the husband shouldn't say kishach niseno lebeisi. When she becomes mine completely, when I marry her, we have nisuin, then I'll give her clothing. No, your chiyuv starts today. He wants to be a jerk and not give her. You take care of your kala. He should provide for her even though she's still living at her father's house. If you marry off an orphan, give her at least 50 zuz. Im yesh bakis, you're from tzedakah, you have to go collect for her, make sure that she has at least 50. And if you look in the pushka and there's more money, we're going to see a little bit more of that each person, what they're used to, so you give her more. I'm not talking about 50 zuz tsuri. I'm talking about 1/8 of the value of that ksuba. By the way, Taisus over here I found says, straight out, then a ksuba, if you look like 7 lines down from the bottom of Taisvas, the last Taisvas, he says that a ksuba is obvious that we were talking about it, but I just saw it in the Furish, and that a ksuba, when it says 200 zuz, it means tsuri zuz, the really valuable stuff. Okay, and we're talking about over here 1/8 of that. How do I know that that's the case? That we're not talking about tsuri, the expensive stuff? Not expensive, the more valuable denomination. Because it says that in the Mishnah, if there's more money, you should give her more. I'm reading on my kiss. What does it mean? In the pushka. If you're talking about the tsuri stuff, it was 25% of a person's salary. A yearly salary. How much should you give this kala already? Only give her 50. There's a whole nidain, and this is a shayla, not so much for us, but people go around collecting money. A lot of time they take the money, and what do they do with it? They buy an apartment. And there's a shayla nachronim, do they have a right to do that? And let's say even if the minhag is that in our day everybody buys an apartment, let's say in Eretz Yisrael, but who says you need an apartment in Yerushalayim? In Bet Shemesh? Go find a place up north, and you get an apartment there. You're allowed to take money from people and buy apartments. The Revazim talks about it, all these things. It's not so much Baruch Hashem for most of us, but people are going collecting, they have to think about it. Okay. Torah Bana. Yosef Yisayma, Shabolis Parnas, Mefarnasim is Yisayma, Vachkach Mefarnasim is Yosef. You have a boy and a girl, so you mechuyev to give money first to the girl and then the boy. Because it's the man, if worse comes to worse, the boy will go from door to door. It's not so common for a woman to go knocking on doors for money. Wow, we're doing okay. 20 minutes for Samach Zayin Amud Beis, it's large, but we can do it. in honor of Yankee Baum and Moshe Horn, bracha hatzlacha b'chol hayanim, and the zchus being able to support limud Torah and to finish learning Shas with rebelli. Oh, I'll read this now for all those who skipped the emails. Ha! We got you. Here's one that you can't skip. 8 months ago, when I made my first MDY sponsorship, it was in honor of Chewy. Remember? Chewy, Woody, and Kale twins. Morty Moskowitz, who got me back into the daf, my former chavrusa. Morty, Chewy, was married for 8 years at that point and hadn't had a child yet. We worked on sponsoring something, but in a nice way, so we came up with as a zchus. Not to say that he needs children. Chewy had his first kid, Mazel Tov. His wife was 1 month pregnant at the time. Oh, I wanted to add it to my sefer that I'm writing. 9 months and a day. So I'll do volume 2. 8 months and a day. But Baruch Hashem, that a child, Mazel Tov, it's tremendous Simcha, is with his permission that it can be shared. Yishkoyach, Mazel Tov to Chewy, Mazel Tov to Moshe Horn, Yishkoyach. Okay? So, sponsorship works retroactively, 100%. Sponsor in the flesh in the Rebbe. He said it, not me. Sponsor MDY.com. Sponsor MDY.com if you want to be Zoichet Tzedakah before I hold as one of the best tzedakahs in our generation. Sponsor MDY.com. Tana Rabbanan. No, why? Because it goes towards giving Gemaras. We gave out almost $1 million this year to different things, but specifically giving Gemaras to people that are not into learning or are into learning, they have 2 shasim, but they want a free Gemara. It doesn't matter. But it gets them to start learning and taking learning seriously. For $30, exchange a guy's life. Unbelievable tzedakah. Tana Rabbana. Yasem Shabal Lisa, Soichim Loi Bayis. Here's the sugya. It says in the Gemara, and they bring this Gemara here. It says you rent a house for a Yasem. You don't buy him a house. You rent the house. Okay? So they say, well, maybe, even if you want to say that our day is different, I skipped 2 lines. Orphan, 2 orphans, a girl and a boy. They came to get married. First marry off the girl, then the boy. She has more embarrassment not being married. Marry her off first, and over here you'll insert make shidduchim this year. Get rid of the busha that the girls have and the parents have, etc. Torah Rabban. Yasem Shabal Lisa, Sochim Loi Bayis and Mitzim Loi Mita v'Chol Klei Tashmishay. A Yasem who comes, we give him, we provide him with a house, living space, a bed, everything he needs, pots, pans, Kol Klei Tashmishay. V'Achakach Masim Lo Isha. Today we have a different minute. You get married and then you find a house and stuff. Okay, you have to get ready. Make sure you have everything you need, and then find a wife. Shenemar dei machsoiroi asher yechsar loi. Here's the pasuk. Ki v'sayach tiftach es yadcha loi. You should open up your hand. You should open up to him your hand and give him v'havet and lend him money. Tavitenu, lend him. Dei machsoiroi, whatever a person needs. Asher yechsar loi. So the Gemara is going to darshan these words. Even the havet is going to be darshan. Dei machsoiroi asher yechsar loi. Dei machsoiroi. Ze habayis. Get him a house. Asher yechsar. Ze mita v'shulchan. Interesting. You need a table. You can't tell him, okay, eat on your lap. Give him a table. Give him a bed. Loi. What do you do with the word loi? Zuisha. V'cheinu oimer. Similar, we have esa loi eza keneg loi. Okay, sort of like Ezra Pollak, not really, but Torah Rabban. Deimach soiroi. What does it mean? You should give a ani. What he's missing? Atam mitzuva olav lefarnasoi. You have a chiyuv. Everybody has a chiyuv to be mefarnas ani. V'atam mitzuva olav la'ashroi. But you don't have to make him wealthy. Again, this is part of what Rosner was talking about. You don't have to make him wealthy. You don't have to give him a $2 million home in Bet Shemesh. Asher yechsar loi. Now here's a shocker. Even if he's missing, what is he missing? Afilu sus lirkov olav. Buy him a car. Ve'eved loretz lefanov. This is unbelievable. Now, it's talking about a person who was used to a certain comfort in life. He had slaves running in front of him, and he had a car. So you gotta fill in what he's missing. He's missing. So fill in that thing. Now, question. I understand a guy needs a car. It's hard for him to walk miles upon miles. You get him a car. But why in the world does he need a slave? What good does it do for him? So you see from here an amazing yesod. That even a person's mishagas and gaiva is also tzedakah to give him and fill in that. Now there is a shita, the shita mekubetzes brings a shita that it's only referring to if nobody knows yet that he's poor, so to save face and that people should know that he's a ani, you do it. But if already people know that he's poor, you're not mechuyev to. But that's not the common shita. Okay, but it's an unbelievable thing to give somebody something that's a pure mishagas. Doesn't serve a purpose at all. You have a slave running in front of him. What does it do for him? Nothing. It's in his head. Gaiva is also a necessity for certain people. Unbelievable. Okay, right. If he's used to it, if he already got used to it before, not. No, but he's demanding. You're talking about. We'll see. There is enough community within the sugya. If somebody got himself used to it, or he was already doing this for years, different things. Who says Rabbi Berkowitz? Yeah.
Part of the community, the culture of the community, like going to Uman for Chana.
Yeah.
Why do I have to be with my men? Because they go. So for him, it's busha for him not to go.
If it's part of his community, right? That's what they're tining. Part of the community is to get an apartment, but you're saying in the part of it is in Yerushalayim Dafka, in Bnei Brak Dafka. Okay, it's part of their culture.
He said about going to Uman.
Going to Uman. So we're allowed to down for him. Yeah. Okay. Rabbi Yitzchak Berkowitz, a Litvak, said that those who go to Breslov and they need money because what they do is a lot of them they go to the airport and they come without a ticket. They go to the airport, Hashem will provide. So are you mechuyev to give them or not? If that's what he needs, you could call it mishagas or not a mishagas, so it's the best thing in the world. But for him, that's his culture. So he says he passes that it's a mitzvah, you mekayim mitzvah tzedakah to give him money to go on a ticket. Okay, interesting, very interesting. I'll tell you this. I thought this was a beautiful Rebbe Yashiv. There was a Rebbe who came from America. He came from America. You hear? You hear, Mr. Halperin? Oh, a Rebbe came from America, and they were collecting money for him to make a tish. He didn't have money for a tish. No. So what do you guys think? He wanted. It's nice for Rebbe to have a tish, but he didn't have money for it. Collect money for his tish. It's his culture. Rabbi Yashiv said an amazing thing, and that is Mechol Gan Rabbi Yitzchak Berkowitz L'chayra. He said that when a person has everything he needs, he got to Eretz Yisrael. He had a flight to get here. He has a house. He has food on the table. He just doesn't have enough money for a tish. That you're not mechuyev to give. It's when a person is an ani. He doesn't have bread to put on the table. So you give him bread, and then you give him also a horse and a slave. But a millionaire, a guy's a multimillionaire, but he can't afford his mishagas. You don't go ahead and give him extra for his mishagas. No, but I'm saying this breast of a guy that went to the airport, could he afford food on the table or not? If he could afford food on the table, then there's no extra mitzvah to give him. That's what he's saying. A guy that's wealthy, society. No, it's not a specific, that's what the Rebbe Ezra is saying. It's not a specific need. You don't say, he needs a tish. Who is he? Is he poor or not poor? That's how you look at it. If he's not poor, then you don't give him a need. I also have a need. I need a private plane. Can you please give me a private plane? But if I'm not poor, there's no mitzvah to give me a private plane. But in my culture, all my boys in Chicago, they have private planes. I need a plane. There's no mitzvah tzedakah to give me a plane. So if you are not poor and you want to go to Uman, you don't get a mitzvah for that. That's what he's saying.
Berkowitz saying you're a kind of mitzvah. The last time you know the field. Two different things.
No, if you don't have a chiyuv, then you can't mitzvah. I hear. Torah bar. Fine. We did that. Amru Olav al Hillel Azaken. Incredible story. Hillel Azaken, the famous Onav, right? He was Mechayev, the big Onav. Shalogach La'ani ben Tovim. There was a wealthy person who became poor, and Echad Tzisler Kavalo Ve'eved La'aretz Lefanov. And he ran in front, and he gave him a horse and a slave to run in front of him. And he couldn't find a slave to run in front of this poor person. Hillel himself ran approximately 2 miles in front of him. So they asked right away, but it's also for the Nasi to be invited himself. It was before he was a Nasi. or some want to say his gaiva was so strong in this person that it was pikuach nefesh. Pasha pikuach shkuach. If he doesn't get his slave, he'll drop dead. Torah abonim. There's a guy that when he lost all his money in the stock market, they bought him a liter of meat every single day. Says the Gemara, liter basar my rebus, a big deal. Okay, so it's less than a pound. No, so they bought him a pound of meat every day. That's the big chiddush. Amar Ravuna, no, liter basar mishaloifais. It was very expensive. It was duck. But liter basar mamish. No, they bought a pound of money worth of meat. Not that the meat was a pound. The money that they bought it with. $10,000 worth of meat, whatever it was. Ravashi Omar also on Kfar Kotan Hoya, another pshat. So I wanted to prove to my chavrusa from here, he didn't like it so much, that if a specific person has a need, then it's not baltashchis, they would shecht an entire cow to feed this guy every day. And there's nobody else to eat it over there. It's in a small village. So the animal went to waste. So I told you, see from here, that you could waste food if there's a tzarech for it. You don't have to eat every drop and put it in the refrigerator and make your kids eat the rest of the cereal with the soggy milk and all that thing. There's a tzarech, you eat, and then you go weiter. He didn't like it so much. What are you used to eating? He asked the ani. Reb Nechemia asked him, what do you eat? I'm used to steaks, v'yayin yoshan, aged wine. So he tells him, listen, I can't afford that to give to you, but I can afford something else. You want to roll with me in arbis, in lentils? I don't have more. So he said, okay, listen, you don't have, let me eat some arbis. He died out of being a mafunik. He was so used to eating basar, and then you tell him you have to go and become a vegetarian. He died. Omar, so he said, Reb Nechemia said, Oy loy lezeh sharogi Nechemia. Never this guy that I killed him. Says Gemara Adrabah. Oy loy Nechemia sharogi lezeh. You should have said it stronger. Nechemia killed him. Oy loy Nechemia. Nebuchadnezzar Nechemia is a murderer. Why Nebuchadnezzar the guy that died? Nebuchadnezzar the murderer, no? Elo iu d'lo yiboyle lefanuki nafshei kulad. Hillel, this is what I was talking about. It's his fault. He killed himself because he got himself used to something he shouldn't have got used to. Who told him to eat meat every single day? I offered him a decent meal of lentils. He shouldn't have died from it. It's his fault. How does like I made the Rava? Rava asked him, what are you used to eating? I get a good chicken, a fattened chicken, and aged wine. You're coming to me and asking for fattened chickens? Eat like a man. Eat normal thing. What do you need? 2006 Castel. Drink regular water. What do you? It's the tzibur's money. What? It's your money. I'm eating from you. I'm eating Hashem's money. It's none of your business. I heard a guy tell this to my shver, a Yerushalmi guy. My shver gave him like a nice check. He says, "It's not your money to give me. I want more." Who are you? He started yelling at him, Barab. Okay, it depends how you do it. At the end, my shver grabbed the check from him. I think. Okay, this Nina. This guy was a huge Baal B'tachan, serious Baal B'tachan, and he told the Rava he was serious. What?
I wouldn't be surprised if you gave more.
No, a guy like that, yes, no. You got for the principle. It's how you say it. It's how you approach the person. Usually, it's not. What do they say? It's who you give to. It's not. It's not the cause. It's more the person. And the person acts in a certain way. It's like you feel terrible. We had a Gabi Tzedakah once. We used to run around shul. And like, what? Hashem should break everybody's eyes. So I went on. I said, so now he dafka screams, Yisaberu! Whatever. Shir's over now. Okay. There goes the video. Yisaberu means we have hope. We all hope to Hashem. Give us some food, sustenance. And Hashem returns and gives food to everybody. B'itoy, in the right time. B'itom le'nemar, not in their time. Ela b'itoy. Milamed, singular. Hashem provides for every single person what he needs in the right time. Says the Gemara, this is a famous journey song. I think, I didn't listen to it in a long time. But if it's not that song, then it's the famous story with Reb Zisha. Reb Zisha used to say every day, Hashem, give me something to eat. And the Gabi said, Hashem? What Hashem? It's me. So he decided one day, the famous song, he decided one day not to give him food. Reb Zisha says, Hashem, give me food. So the Gabi is sitting there, no, where's Hashem, give me food? Turns out that Reb Zisha was thrown into a pool of water by a certain guy. He decided to knock a guy over. And he laughed, whatever, and then he told his friends about it. He said, how did he look like? He said, like this. Like that. He said, you crazy. You knocked Reb Zisha over into the water. He says, oh, I got to do tshuva. So let me make him a geshmaka breakfast. And that morning, he came in with the bread. Mamish, this story comes from here. Listen to this story. Rava's sister walks in. Now, what's the chiddush? He didn't see his sister 13 years. Mamish like the story of the Vilna Gaon. The Vilna Gaon's sister showed up after 20 years. He walked out, he said, how are you? I'm sorry, but we're old and we have to do something for Shemayim. I'll see you later. Adios. So he didn't see his sister for 13 years. And what does she schlep in? The exact two items that this Baal B'tachan told Rava that he eats, that's what she brought in after 13 years of not seeing her. So obviously this is Omar, says Rava, that's it. You see that this guy is right, it's right here in front of us. You are answered by Kodesh Baruch Hu, eat. Torah. A person is very poor and he's embarrassed to take money. And you see from this Gemara, you see all these Gemaras, we take to heart so many lessons. You see how you treat a ani. What you do is you trick him, you say, here, let me lend you some money. And I'm thinking to myself, well, a lot of poor people do the daf. And they know the trick. You know what? Even if they know the trick, it feels good. Oh, you want a loan? Nah, he's probably not doing he's not doing the trick on Daf Amud Beis, because I'm a geshmaki guy, I'm going to pay him back. And then you just don't collect it. You give him a gift, and then you say it's a loan. What? Yeah. They say, oh, he probably doesn't want it back. Okay. So ask the Gemara, but if you say he's a type of guy that has pride and is not taking gifts from people, say, you know what, I want to give you a gift. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, then you give him a loan and you mevater. This is a big chiddush. A guy has plenty of money, but he's so stingy, such a miser. Like when I was a kid, I knew Guinness World Records Balpeh, Inside Out. That was like basically the only book we had at home. And there was a famous story there of a woman who's such a miser. She's the record of the miser. She's a multi-gazillionaire. But she didn't want to take her son who had an infection to the doctor. She wanted to save the $2, so they had to amputate his hand. And the whole miser, in the end of the thing, in the chapter, it says that when she died, her son went and bought a golden toilet. Like lahachas his mother. That's how much money she had. But he saw, and she used to eat cold oatmeal. She didn't want to warm it up to save on the coals. Oh my! So you have people. Yeah, I see a person has enough money, doesn't want to give to anybody. So what do? You trick him. You give him money. You say it's a gift. Oh, gift. He'll take a gift. And then you go and you collect from him. Says the Gemara, the trick will work once, but it's not going to work next week. Or a papa lacher misa, you ring up a big bill, you just keep on giving matanis, but this is our care for people. He's a nebuch in the head. He's messed up. He doesn't know how to spend. What is he saving his money for? So that his son should buy a golden toilet. So we're going to spend for him and then charge the estate after he dies. Says the Gemara, if a person has money but he doesn't want to spend on his family or himself and his kakin loy, that's his problem. Don't deal with him. Says the Gemara, if he doesn't have money and he's a great guy, he doesn't have money, he doesn't want to take from his tzedakah. Listen to this. Bring something from your house. Now what's going to happen is he's going to say, I don't have anything to give you. He pasha doesn't have anything. So say, okay, so don't bring. But when you tell him, bring a mashkad, he thinks that you're being serious. He thinks that you're loaning him money. Then he'll be He'll be agreeable to take money from you. It's a trick. You're not really going to take a mashka. So we have to go out of our way to make the ani feel good and take money from us. You should lend money. He doesn't have money and he doesn't want to take from tzedakah. Then you lend him money. It's one of the biggest madregas of tzedakah. Tavitenu. What's the second lashon? Have tavitenu that you see on the chart. This is talking about a guy that has a lot of money, but he doesn't want to spend it. You give him a gift. If he has and doesn't want to use it, you don't care about him. So what do I do with that word? It's a double lashon. That's how people speak. It's not to learn a drasha from. Says the Gemara, incredible stories, Rabbi said. All these stories are for us to take chizuk and learn from them. There was a very poor person in his neighborhood. Check out this picture. This again is from the art scroll Mishnayis Kalim. This is the way the hinges were in those days. There was a hinge on top, hinge in the bottom. So if he moved the door a little bit, on the bottom there's a hole in the ground, he would put money in that hole in the ground. Like we have today, a mailbox. But in those days, they didn't have it. Hid the money over there. Every single day, he'd go by there and throw in 4 zuz. A pivot, the pivot, but the pivot is the hinge. What about the hole? Okay. Says the guy, I need to find out who's this person giving me money every day. Says the Gemara, it was late. He missed his time. He came late to the base marriage. But it was night and he didn't want to walk by himself. I said the visu bad day, so he brought his wife with him. So the guy sees that the door is starting to move. He's starting to move the door so he has room to throw the money in there. He jumps out. Oh, who is it? They started running for their life. Husband and wife. Maruk and his wife. The famous story. They found a oven. Grufa nura. Grufa means, like you see in this picture, this is how we did Shabbos. I'm thinking to myself, it was unbelievable pictures, but from Stefan Shabbos, we could upgrade a little bit. You take out the coals, that's called grufa. No coals anymore, but pretty hot. He jumps in and he says, oops, this is not good. My feet are baking. Listen to this. His wife was in such a high madrega, she wasn't burning. So she tells him, don't feel bad. Like, it would be me and my wife, I would say, you see, I'm better than you. I'm not burning, you're burning. But that's not how it works here. She says, you know what? Put your feet on mine. So he realized that she's not burning. He got very weak. Like, what's going on here? She made him feel good. 2 things. First of all, the poor people come to me all the time. You don't have the opportunity. You're in base measures. They come to me all the time. Second of all, because I give food. I give ready-made food. I give bread. You give cash. What do you do with cash? You have to go and buy wheat. I just want to point out here, I know it's late, but I have to say that when my mother was sick in Monsey, there was a person by the name of Moshe Mosbacher, lives still in Monsey on Carlton Lane, if anybody wants to know. He made by himself thousands of meals. I'm talking about literally, I'm not exaggerating. Thousands of meals with his own hands, wouldn't let people help him. In his backyard, he had a commercial oven, but 5 of them, had crazy amount of freezers. Make food and food delicious from soup, fish, chicken, meat, desserts. It'd come, Simcha, he'd give us boxes. Nobody's cooking, nobody had anything, and my parents didn't have money, but that was a different story. Drop off boxes like that for Pesach, thousands of meals. I think it was like 10,000 meals or something. Some is sugar. People that give is different. It's giving money and giving a box of food that's ready to go, ready to eat. Anyway, I'm just saying this. If you want to drop off a check by his house, I'm sure he could use it and he'll do more with it. But whatever. I didn't speak to him. Maybe he's a gazillionaire today. I don't know. I'll go upon him. Halavai. Wrote. No, where am I? Oh, why did they run away from him? Also, you soy datsum. Biznomer Shimon Chasida, V'amir Lomer Yerchem Shimon Baichai, Noyach Leila Adam Shimsar Atzim Kivshan Eish. It's better to jump into a fire like they did, Val Yalbim Penei Chaveri Barabim, and not to embarrass your friend. Why? Minola mit Tamar D'chsiv Himutzeis. Tamar could have saved her life. She was about to be thrown into the fire because they said she was Mizana. She could have said no. She could have said the truth. It's Yehuda. But she didn't want to embarrass him, even though it was Yehuda. Even though it was Yehuda that said to throw her into the fire. Hey, you think about it. He's throwing me into the fire. Let me just tell the world the truth. She could have saved her life. No. It's a Taisvis. Soita Daf Yud Amud Beis Ayin Sham Tap Taisvis. He says it is not a minhag or a nice thing. It's mamish killing somebody. So why is it now? He says, so then why is it not the Arba Chamuros? Should we have a Dezar Gil, a Raish, Damim, and Mal Bnei Chaver? He says, you're right, it should be. Just it's not mefurish in the Torah, but it's right up there. But if you just think about it for a second, this individual, it's his fault. He decided to chase my Rukva. Nevertheless, my Rukva felt that if he turns around and he sees the Golad Dar there, he thought he's going to catch some guy in the neighborhood. But he's going to find that it's Mar Ukva, that's really going to hurt him, and he's going to be embarrassed. For that, he threw himself in the fire. We're not talking about a guy embarrassing somebody else in public. It was not none of his business to chase him down the street. No, you chase him, and if he sees me, I'm going into the fire. Unbelievable, Mr. Haskell. Have a wonderful day.